Hello friends. I'm making this video as an introduction to myself and to my channel. I have no idea where this channel is going to go over the course of its lifetime, but I hope that this video kind of acts as a waypoint, somewhere for me to start and gives me direction, and I'm just gonna think out loud here and see what comes out. So I think the best thing to talk about in any channel is something that you're passionate about, right? So I was thinking about my day, and I was thinking about what I do day to day and how I spend my free time. And for me, only one word came up: exploration. That's how I like to spend my days. I like to explore. So what does exploration mean, right? If you take the world as a whole, there are parts of the world that you've never seen before. I call these parts aphotic zones, which is usually a term used for places of complete darkness where light doesn't reach. So these parts of the world, these metaphorical aphotic zones, are completely empty. You have no idea what they look like. They're completely dark. So these are experiences that you're completely blind to, right? So as people, I think it is our responsibility to explore as much beauty of the world as possible. But exploration is not limited to the outside world. I call that outer exploration. There's also inner exploration, because if you think about it, these metaphorical aphotic zones also exist within your mind. So there are parts of your personality, your passions, your goals, things about yourself that you don't know, that you've just never experienced. So for that, you also have the responsibility or the duty to explore yourself to whatever extent that you can. So for me, outer exploration happens through friends, it happens through traveling, it happens through learning and picking up new hobbies like, painting or boxing or chess or whatever hobbies you're interested in. And inner exploration happens through things like journaling, things like meditating, or even things like reading and taking notes about what you read. Once I've explored things on the outside and things on the inside, I like to synthesize this information using a second brain system or a note-taking system. And there's a great book on this called Building a Second Brain, which I would highly recommend, by the way. So I think as a whole, I want to make videos on this topic, on inner and outer exploration. I want my audience to feel curious about the world. I want them to feel like there's so much we haven't seen and we haven't experienced yet, and it's almost a shame to reach the end of your life with all these aphotic zones in your mind and in the world, things that you've just never experienced. Because the current problem that I think most people have is they try to live an impressive life. So at the end of their life, they want someone to kind of assess how they've lived and say, okay, this person has made this much money, they have this many houses, they have this many cars. This is impressive, this is pretty cool. I wish my life was like this person's life. But I want people to shift that mindset. I want people to lean towards living an expressive life. And that means at the end of your life, there's no assessment, and you just think to yourself and say, I have expressed myself to the outside world to the best of my abilities. That is, I believe, a much more intentional way of living. And that is something that I want to instill in people that get to know me. So why YouTube, right? I think YouTube is the perfect platform to connect with people across the world. And I love people, right? I love learning from people. I love teaching people. I love being inspired by people. I love inspiring people. And there are just so many people in the world that are worth connecting with. And I think this is the best way for me to connect with those people. I want to talk about some channels that I've been watching for a while that have inspired me to start my own. One of these channels is Valerie Lynn, and her channel kind of blends this idea of outer and inner exploration beautifully. Most of her videos are vlogs where she's going about her day, she's exploring the town, she's meeting friends, she's taking part in her hobbies, usually painting, or building a PC, or anything that's exploring and interacting with the outside world. But she does these voiceovers, and in those voiceovers, over these clips, she talks about inner exploration. She talks about things that she's interested in. This could be her relationships or her anxiety or anything that's piqued her interest at the time. So this blend of outer and inner exploration is something that I was struggling with until I came across her channel. And I thought to myself, she does this beautifully. The next channel that I really enjoy is Vicky Zhao, and what she does is she mostly talks about learning and how to think in frameworks and this whole idea of meta learning, right? Learning how to learn. Her channel taught me the common point between everything that I do. It's all about learning. You know, like previously I used to think about, oh, how can I connect philosophical books with perfumery, with jujitsu, with chess, with 100 other things. But at the core, everything is learning. And if you can talk about learning in a very broad perspective, you can talk about everything that you love. There's one more channel that I really enjoy, and his name is Heinz. And he talks to the camera like he's talking to an old friend. When you watch his videos, it's just calming. It feels like you're talking to an old friend for advice. And the vibe that he puts through the camera is one that I really enjoy, and his camera presence is something that really struck a chord with me. And that's all I really want to do. I want my friend on the other side of the camera, or on the other side of the screen. That's you. So I want you to go out and try something new after watching my videos. You know, I want the audience to think about something differently after watching. If even one person watches each video and it changes the way they think in some way, I would call that a success, honestly. And I say friend because I don't want to be seen as some kind of advisor or teacher. I want to be seen as a companion, as someone who walks beside you and who's going through everything that you're going through. You know, I'm just as lost as anyone else. But I want to build a community where everyone has each other, where we can go through these things together, and where we can learn different lessons from different people and bring them together to grow together. And before I end, I kind of wanted to talk about some concerns I have going forward with YouTube. One of the biggest things is that my whole personality is built on being a generalist over being a specialist. So this basically means that, like, instead of doing one thing in a lot of depth, I'd rather do 100 things in a little bit of depth. Because I think the first 20 hours of doing something had so much more meaning to me personally than spending another 100 or 200 hours exploring something further and further and further and getting all the minute details and tuning right. I personally like to jump around a lot. I like to take things that are on polar opposites of the intelligence spectrum. For example, something that requires musical intelligence, do that for a while. Then take something that requires linguistic intelligence and do that for a while. Take something that requires logical intelligence or kinesthetic intelligence and tie all of these together, kind of like you're at a buffet, right? You want to try a little bit of everything. I don't like the idea of going to a buffet and just eating my favorite thing the whole time. What's the point of going to a buffet, right? We have the option to try all these different things. Might as well sample them. I'm just concerned about how this would work with YouTube, because YouTube is all about niching down. Why would you watch one creator talk about 100 things in a little bit of depth when you can watch 100 creators, each of whom are specialized in the one thing that they enjoy? That is a question I don't know the answer to yet. Maybe this will force me to niche down on one specific thing. But for now, you know, that has been... Obviously, I'm not going to let it stop me from making videos, but, you know, something that I wanted to put in here just to hear your thoughts on it, just to hear what you think. And, you know, comments below whatever everyone else is going through and whatever everyone else thinks about this kind of topic. So yeah, this is a quick introduction to my channel. I'm also putting this in the PTYA introduction section. So hello everyone who's watching from there, and please feel free to reach out to me, DM me, start a conversation. I'd love to meet a lot of you, and I'd love to build that connection. So I'll see you guys in my first official video. Thanks for watching.